All right. Good morning. So we're going to be doing a little bit of coding today. I thought it was going to be mostly UI stuff, but Unity out of the box doesn't support what I want to do. So we're going to have to make. What we want to do today is we're going to get rid of this HP bar and replace it with the thing that we're going to use to track wounds. However, we're going to need to create or extend out the layout group. 1 second. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we're going to need to extend out the layout group to work differently, because if we use a regular horizontal group, Unity doesn't really gracefully handle overflow. So we need to handle that. That's our thing today. Hopefully it won't take too long, then we could actually get to putting in stuff. All right. Oops. Bear with me. There we go. Stuff. All right, whatever. Interesting. Okay. Let us begin. So we're not going to just delete this HP bar because it works and I don't want to get rid of something that works. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to disable this. Go over. Actually, there's a couple of things I like as after the stream, like just taking care of the rest of my day. I was just so many ideas were coming to my head about this. Like I need to make. So now that we've gotten our entity system working, I want to put in over here the tool that's going to bootstrap up to the persistent to the scene over here. What each one of these scenes should look like. So when this scene is loaded, it should tell this, hey, I'm dirty, basically, and this should then say, okay, this is the definition for the scene. Let's handle business. So it'll create the player on its own, or the actor, and then assign that actor there. That's what I was saying yesterday. The way that I was doing it, I was just doing it so that way I could get things running. But there's the other way that I want to hit this, and that's the way that it is. So my brain is like still working on that. But for this part, we just are dealing with a HP bar. So let's deal with that. So we don't need this right now, so we can go ahead and disable it. All right. So ideally, we want to keep the stamina bar. And we're going to make a new panel here. Sorry. Let's bring that up to here. Okay. So we're going to have this be our background. So we don't want it to have a color, actually. Kind of just want this to be transparent. But for now, we're going to make it very clear where it is. There we go. Okay. So now we just need to put an image over it, and this image is going to be where our, well, actually just use another panel. This is going to be where everything is now. This one is going to be completely transparent. Okay. I don't think we got, I think like yesterday I was just too tired. Didn't actually. So we're going to have to use like a template, some icon. I haven't set any icons up to test this out yet. We are going to be extending out, so this is where we're going to be adding. Okay. So this image type is simple. Simple. Not raycast target. Okay. Interesting. One sec. Don't you wish we could be out of sight, out of mind? Take my hand, don't go slow. I'm chasing the afterglow. Dance with me, wild as me. Finally got some clarity. Don't you know? All I'll ever really wanna be is a connected high. You and I, pinnacle, climactic vibe. Show me yours, I'll show you mine. You don't have to pretend we're shy. Let's forget the water tide. Turn it up to overdrive. Take it slow, let it go. Roll down. One sec. I'm just looking to see if I have like a better. I see. Not like it matters, but I just like me getting sidetracked. One sec. Where is this thing now? I think that's the best one that I have. We have these, but I don't want to use them. Yeah, I think the other one that I have. I think this is fine. Let's just go with a solid square and call it a day there. Not this one though. I think this one has a discoloration, so we have to use this one. Oh, what's this? No. Yeah. So I could go with the bar, but I don't want. This is just a background, not a bar. So just a regular square is fine. And we'll do the same thing here. Copy. There you go. Okay. Again, it's not like it really mattered, but I guess it's there. Wait 1 second. What would happen? No, it doesn't. Yeah, okay. Alright, so now we need to, on the wound container, we're going to use a new script. And this script is basically, we're going to be extending out the layout group class that Unity has. So this is a good video, I guess, for showing how to grab current Unity classes and then extending those out. I think we do that automatically anyway when we do mono behaviors. So any class that we do that extends out mono behavior, we're just extending a Unity class. So it's just less often that I find myself extending out other Unity classes, but the same logic. right? So let's make a folder for it because we are good devs and like to keep things organized. So organized, we struggle to find things. So this is going to be a component. It's going to be under the UI structure, and it is going to let's call this a layout. Layout utility. There we go. All right. And I guess it's just going to be this is going to be a overlapping, because we don't, for handling overflow, we're going to be making this overlap. That's the idea. Okay, there we go. So then we just add that here. That'll be it. Unity just needs to load up. Did it do it? Nope. Do it? Nope. Okay. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, let's try doing it this way. Overlapping. There we go. Okay. So when we're doing anything like this, we kind of want to see like what's happening in editor, right? We don't want to go in. We don't want to go into Unity. We don't want to start. We don't want to run the game in order to, or simulate the running of the game in order to see what we're doing. We need to see what's happening. So there's a little header that you put over this. Just put right here. Execute always. Right. So this script will now, we can basically see it running no matter what. And then over here, we're going to change this to the layout group. Yep, there it is. Okay, there we go. So that's just it saying I need to make sure that I implement these. Okay. So we just need to make sure that we... Hold on a second. Okay, so we just need to track two things really on this. Because the way that it's going to work is you should be applying changes to the children on this. So we just need to know the spacing, the min spacing and the max space. We're just going to do, I guess we can do it, make it public. Float. I don't know really, that's nice. I don't know really what the size is going to be for these, but sorry, I'm going to just put like 5 here and do a -30 here. It works the other way. But we'll see. I think we're going leftwards on spacing when it comes. I think we start anchored. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not sure. I haven't messed with layout group in a while, so let's see what happens. So we have this. So again, these are methods that are already inside of layout group. So all this is just me overwriting the stuff that's already in layout group. How did I know to do this? I didn't. It literally just forced me to do it, and it was giving me an exception. So I just right-clicked and then told it to add whatever it needed, and it automatically generated that for me. Okay, but now that it's here, we need to just apply our common sense and try to figure out what needs to go in them, right? And also keep in mind what it is I'm actually trying to accomplish here. So we calculate layout, input horizontal, input vertical. So I don't think we need to do anything with this. We're not really messing with it. We're just going to leave it empty. But there should be one. If there's one for horizontal, yep, there it is. If there's one for vertical, there should be one. There you go. All right. So, in case there's anything happening higher up with this, we're just going to call base on it. I have no clue. We're not going to do the same thing here because I don't care about this bar does not care. It's a horizontal. So if this was like a grid, like a full just grid in every direction, or if it was a vertical, then I'd care about that. I don't care about it. So we just leave it empty. That way when it's called internally, it doesn't run anything. So alright, so first thing we want to do is we want to get the width of the current rect. So that's going to set up basically the area of the grid that we're dealing with. And we're also going to want to get the amount of children that this has. Right? Because we're going to need to calculate the position of each child to create the overlapping that I'm looking for. And the rest should be pretty simple math. None of it is exceptionally crazy. We've done crazier stuff. Unity, though, so who knows? Maybe I'm here for another 5 hours. So let's go float with... so we just need to get... I think we need to do get component. Start. I don't think... Maybe... Before we do that, let's see if this already comes with it. It looks like it does. Yep, it does. Okay, awesome. Nice. Okay, I can appreciate that. So this is kind of like in Godot, where once you inherit from a control node, you kind of have access to all of the stuff that you wouldn't normally have access to. So this is really cool, because normally we would have to do something like, if we did mono behavior on this, we would have to do something like, that's what Unity should do, right? Like they should just make, instead of using mono behavior for everything, they should actually have a separate UGUI behavior, right? And just break it apart like that. I think there's merits to doing that for not having to do the additional steps in order to get access, like the rec transform and stuff like that. Right, then they can go wild with it too on the back end, because when you break things apart, you don't have to worry about everything working or breaking something. I mean, I like mono behavior in that way, but it's still, you lose something. So if the count is equal to 0, I think we should just return. There's really like nothing to do. There's no children, so we don't want to run any calculations on this. So then from there we need to get the width of each child. Well, should we get each? Let's get the width of just one child. So we're going to try to keep everything the same as far as icons with those. So we'll base it on the very first child that we have. So float child. Well, actually, let's just call it icon. Rect transform. Rect. Yep, there it is. Rect children. And we just need the size delta X. Right, and then we just need now the total width. So this is going to be the raw width if we just put each one of them side by side of one another before we recalculate where their position should be. So their total and think no plus we use the max spacing. Better idea. All right, so now we could probably make this a slider. No, it's fine. So now we do float spacing is going to be equal to okay. So now this is like, again, it's simple math. It's just got a thing. So first we want to make sure if the total width is greater than the actual width that's allowed. Right? The width that's allowed is the width of the parent rect, which is what this is on. And we handled it that way. So if the total width is greater than the width, then now this is where this is where we are going to be changing the spacing that each one should be allowed. I don't think that's it. Yeah, there. Just divide that by the count. Huh. Like, it's weird. Autocomplete kind of already knows what I'm going at with the spacing, and we just clamp it up. Math F clamp, and we just do min spacing max. Okay. So now what we care about is do it over here. Next. So you need to do a for loop and iterate over each child. So for that. Nice. I'm just like tabbing and seeing what autocomplete gives me. So we give it a rect. And it's going to use that rect, basically. We have to set the axis on it. Got you. Okay. So we already have the rect, so we can just do the correct children I, and leave that as, I think, 1. No. Yeah. There we go. Then we can just do X. Ow. Plus equals icon width plus the spacing. That should be it. All right. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, so from here we can just set, because this is going to be what's actually called, and we can just tell it to calculate the layout horizontal. All right. Then for the layout vertical, think of these, or the way I'm thinking of them is basically like this is the update loops for each one of these, how I look at them. Right, so we can basically, we just need to do the same thing here. We just need to iterate over this and tell it to keep the same vertical position. So we probably, you know, so we just do set child. Could be 1. But we can change these numbers later if they're not doing anything right. Gotta pay attention to them. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's it. That should be it. Okay, let's test it. Because we set it up the way that we set it up, save. Like it. I guess Unity is going to be pretty quick today. Okay, so here we can do this. We get with the whole padding suite, all this other stuff. But let's see if this is actually working. So we're going to add a child here. Okay. Nice, it's working. It's hard to tell because it's all white, but it's properly... It's properly positioning them. The only thing I'm thinking is I probably want to add like a resizer to it. So it will like automatically size this, the height and the... No. I don't think we want to resize it that way. Let me think for a second. What we want is... Well, first, let me see if the alignment is working. So instead of the left, we're going to set it to the right. It looks like alignment doesn't work out of the box. What about padding? Okay. Trying to think. Maybe I need to use the original layout group and then see like how it handles objects that are too large.
They say that love is blind, but I never trusted sight. When I turn and look inside, there's nothing I can't find. In the silence of the night, when my demons come alive, I hear a voice disguised, telling me we're not alright.
Hey Nepal, how you doing, man? That's good to hear, brother. One second. Okay, so sorry. So we know that we got the horizontal spacing working. Wait, oops. Sure. Let's just put this 0 real quick. So this is the horizontal spacing. All right, we got that working on the UI. So right now what I'm working on, Nepal, is since yesterday I made the wound system, the data side for the wound system. Today I'm just going to put that on the UI. So I'm replacing the old health bar that was here. And there's just going to be a bunch of icons that will represent the different wounds that the player has taken. And it'll just fill this up. But unfortunately, Unity's built-in bar doesn't support overlapping. It doesn't handle overflow through overlapping, so I have to extend it to build that in. So it's basically, I'm just testing out different parts of it. Right now, we got the spacing working. My next step is to get the child alignment working and to get padding working. And then instead of me manually changing the spacing here, it's going to just check the size of this. It's going to give me an option here, how many of them should fit into the bar before it starts overlapping them. And that's the way it's going to work. That's my goal. Okay. Thanks. All right, so we're going to need to change things a little bit. So we now know that this works, so we don't need to use these fields anymore. We're just going to do this though. Okay, there we go. So we're going to I'm going to leave this here for right now. We're just going to be building around it. So, but we do know it works. That was what we were testing a second ago. So in theory, this is no longer a theory for us. We know what's going to happen when we do this now. So let's start. First, I guess we have to know how many, the target number of children for the row. Yeah. What a tooltip. Right, and I think that's it. Alright, so this stuff is now going to be handled internally. We won't need to expose it in a second, but I don't want to see red squiggly lines, so we're just going to act like as if We don't need it, but we're going to take this out. Well, actually, we're going to leave this in, but we're going to create a new method here because we're good programmers. And like that. Break apart our code a bit. Alright. Actually, let's put this at the bottom. We're going to be working on stuff here in a sec. So now this time that we're going to internally control the size of the children, we're going to need to get the we're going to need to also get the height of the rect, not just the So let's go for parent width. Nice. I like it when it finishes a code for me. This is pretty simple. This is just the width divided by the number of children. So the target children per row. Right, so this will stretch or shrink the children in it based on what we put here now in this part. Well, not yet. We're going to tell it whether or not we want it to do that in a second when we check this, the enforced child sizing. Okay. I was saying part of what makes GD script in Godot so much nicer to work with versus C#, well, let me put it this way. What makes C# is a better language to work with than GD script overall, but what makes GD script very conductive or just easy to just dive into and continue to go is this part right here that Unity is doing, or forcing me to do in this case, which is to use the layout group to just borrow into their stuff, right? So like with Godot, what they do is they break things out. While everything, yes, extends node, they don't let you start at the node level. And Unity kind of works the same way, right? If we go further back into layout group, we'll see it going all the way back where we go through UI behavior. There we go. See, it's mono behavior right here. So this is inheriting mono behavior, but before you get to mono behavior, you have to go through component. Right, so we go through behavior. Behavior is going to lead us back to component, and we go back to object. So in Godot, we would actually, so object I think is like the last one. Yeah, object is just Poco. So you have component. In Godot, the way that it would work is this would basically be like just object in Godot also, but then over here component would be node, and then behavior would be where you would split apart. So you would have like 2D node, 3D node, control node, and stuff like that, and those are the different behaviors. But with Unity, they kind of just dumped everything into just this one class behavior. So it kind of makes it so it's just very hard to borrow correctly, right? So you end up having to do things like get components in areas that these things probably should already just be there, right? Because you usually are extending mono behavior instead of extending a UI related element. In this case, though, we're extending a UI related element. So I don't need to even do all of that because I have access directly to the rect. The rect transforms information instead of the transforms information. Which I think is just one of those things that makes coding in GDScript so much more fluid. Okay. On. So we're basically at right here. So we just need to do this is greater than the parent. Okay. I think 90% should be good. Yep. Okay. All right. So now we just need to do the big part, which is going to be the iteration. So we need to have like a starting offset for it. So you know where to begin, and then from there we can just work on the alignment. Let's do float starting set, or let's call it the start offset. I'm gonna need to make a method. Let's see if they already has something. Oh, it does. Okay, awesome. Gotta just apply common sense sometimes. 0 child size. And we just need to add in the There. All right, so now let's do the iteration. So we're going to lock. We're going to do two things. We need to lock. So three things. We need to position the children properly. We need to keep this scale, or keep their keep them anchored at the position, and then make sure that their size is unalterable. It's not changed by anyone. Right? And this is only going to happen if we tell it to enforce the tile size. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tricky, but it's tricky because we like to split these things out into different pieces. But this is kind of within the same realm of what's happening up here. Like, all of this is just to prepare for this, basically. So it doesn't make sense to break it apart like that. Yeah, okay. Doesn't make sense. So let's get the rect transform. Child. Child is equal to null, then just continue. So before we got the x, we still need to get the x again. So float x position is going to be equal to starting offset. I think we do I times the spacing. I was going to do spacing times plus, but it doesn't make sense. Actual spacing. Alright, so now here done the X part. Just need to do a handle if lock. What did I call it? Enforce. Okay. So if we're going to enforce a child position, then the child anchor. Yeah, the minimum. Anchor max. And we just do it's going to be equal to new vector 2 0 1. Right, and then we change a child pivot. Also 0 and 1. We can, again, if we bump into a problem, so we can now get rid of this, I think. No problem. There we go. But this should be 0 1. Tile scale. I think they use vector 3, pretty sure at this point. Okay, and so now we just need to set the child along the axis. Nice. Okay, that should be it. Else, we just If it's anything else than that, then we just need to do the regular. Hmm. I think that's it. I think that's it. You know what? Let's just test something out. What happens? Your scientists here are not afraid to be wrong. Find out what happens here. All right. So now, because things are changing here, and we can make adjustments, we're going to want to do. This is the reason why I did this earlier. This editor part, because in editor we want to be able to track the dirty of this thing, but we don't want to do that when we're actually playing the game. So let's do it. Okay, so thought it was here. Maybe just regular editor application. There it is. Okay. So we just need to do plus equals. I don't know. Alright, and then we just need to override dirty. I guess we don't need to override it.
We can set the world on fire, fire.
So then we just need to make it rebuild and pass in the rec transform. Okay, so we don't need these anymore. And we know that that works. But
We can set the world on fire.
you don't need this anymore. Because this is handling everything internally now. Alright, let's try it. We didn't put in padding yet, but it's fine. Nice. Does it look like it needed? Yeah, it's 2. You can't change these. That they're grayed out is odd. And still change. Not good. Huh. There we go. So now we can enforce the child resizing. Got to check that off. So there we go. So now if I do this,
I'ma break your neck.
that's not right. Okay. The padding works now. Not working how I intended it to work, but this should stop working the moment that I hit 0.
Break your neck.
Yep, there we go. Now it's just stacking it. Alright, we need to get an actual icon in this. Because just having the white is kind of making it hard to see where the overlap is happening. Okay, so let's. Why is this thing? Do I have it set from the middle or something? Oh, we do. Okay. Want it to be from. I think we want it to be from the right, middle. Yeah, there we go. Nice, it's working. And so now we have the overlap. What happens if we go crazy with it? Fantastic. So that's like what, 54? A lot of different wounds that you've gotten. You probably would have died long before that. Okay, our UI element is done. Congratulations, we got it done. All right, so let's make this one transparent. Let's also change this image. Let's see if we can find something that would be nicer to look at. Probably something less wide. Feels good to have gotten that done so quickly. That was the least painful code I've had to put together in almost a week. Maybe I'm back on the game. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but it's. I'm not trying to build a complete suite. Like, it works for what I need it to do. So I'm gonna have to be happy with that. Awesome. Okay.
never thought I'd feel like this. I never thought I'd feel like this. Ooh, never thought I could. I never thought I'd be on my shit, be on my. I'm spending my time in love like I should. No more struggling, I'm all good. I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like, feel like this. Feel like, I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like, feel like this. Feel like, I never thought I'd feel like this. I never thought I'd feel like this. Ooh, never thought I could. I never thought I'd be on my shit, be on my. I'm spending my time in love like I should. No more struggling, I'm all good. I never thought I'd feel like, feel like, feel like this. Feel like, I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like, feel like this. Feel like, feel like. I'm spending my time in love like I should. No more struggling, I'm all good. I never thought I'd feel like.
Did that backwards. Alright, what does this actually look like in-game? Let's... Bring your mouse over to it, and the tooltip will come up, basically telling you what this is. The idea. I need to fix this also next time. Nepal, you still there? If you can, if you are, what do you think of the what do you think of the wound icon? Well, not so much the wound icon, more the yeah, that's nice. The more the way the UI is set up for this. I think the next thing I want to do is get rid of these horizontal bars. And I'm gonna put, like, the stamina bar is gonna stay. And I think these are gonna have to go. Think. I don't know. I legit do not know. Let's try it the other way.
Thin ice, walking on my own. Playing nice, should I let it go? You said
I think that's better.
change, but you're going home, and I'm losing hope. Nobody thought it up, but you would never know that I'm still afraid. The things you say are adding numbers to my days. What if
Yeah, I think this is better.
Countdown, feel the ticking in my ears. No, is it near the end? Fade out till I disappear. No, 'cause look the other way. You meet you face to face. Words they float away when I'm losing the race. 'Cause I can't play this game. 'Cause I'm still afraid the things you say, hiding numbers to my days. What if you doubt yourself? Things will never be the same.
Let's see. I might need to get stuff done. I need to like get better colors. Like, not a fit. Oh, that's just feel like that probably.
Should I ever tell them how I really feel? Should I ever tell them how I really feel? Should I ever tell them how I really feel?
Like it should just be. I'm trying to aim for something very close.
Should I ever tell them how I really feel?
Let me pick the weirdest looking one. And see what that looks like when I go crazy with it. So all of the different wounds basically just stack up like that. Hover your mouse over them. Find out like what that wound is about. I think this is good.
Swimming in sand, take my hand, I wanna refocus. My soul, my music, my own presence.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't know. Should I continue? I feel like I should take a break here, or we should move into the next part, which is we make the connection now from the data that we had worked with yesterday. So we just need a way of applying wounds, but we would need to go through a couple of steps of creating wound data. We have those set up for it. We just need to actually populate it with stuff. We need a way to connect a button to just test things out and add wounds to myself. And then we need to actually make the method on the UI that this display to the data. And number 4, which I think we took care of yesterday also, which is to organize the wounds in a way that they're clustered. So all like the you're gonna have like specific wounds in specific areas as you build them up. They're not just completely random or appear as that you take them. Right? So like over here you would always have like, I don't know, let's say like bludgeoning wound. Over here you would have laceration wound, and so on. Right? So if you moused over here, they would look similar. You could get like the specifics from the tooltip that will pop up. Oh, that's another thing we need to work on. So I made the tooltip class like almost a week ago now, but I want to redo it. So my idea is pretty simple. We're going to track the mouse's position, and we're going to have basically 4 positions that the tooltip can be anchored to. It's either if the mouse is over here, so we track the mouse's position from the screen center. If the mouse is in the top right corner, bottom, this, whatever corner it is in, so by default, if it's in the middle, it will anchor the sorry, it will anchor the it'll have, maybe we don't need 4 anchors. Probably just get away with 2. Like if we're on the left side. Okay, I think I know what I want. So basically we're going to have 4 anchors, but I was thinking bottom left, top left, but I think we want something closer to like the middle. So it's going to be the middle of the tooltip, but then halfway up. So if we go over here, the tooltip will appear, but it'll shift downwards. So there's like an offset there. That way we have room when we go over here, the tooltip will have room to position itself. That's what I'm thinking. So if we have like a tooltip with a ton of information, it will fill up the screen before it goes off of the screen. Idea. And that'll be based on the mouse's position. So like when we go over here and look at these, the tooltip will appear on the bottom left of the mouse instead. If this was over here, it would appear on the bottom right of the mouse, top right of the mouse, top left of the mouse. That's keeping it simple. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. I just need to give it a little bit more thought. And I'm not sold on these energy, the horizontal energies either. But think it looks alright. We can color code them based on like the type of wound that you're taking as well. Help it on the eyes. This is obviously way more wounds. I think I'm gonna say that you're probably dead by about 10 wounds. Let's call it 15 wounds. So that many wounds is probably gonna be too much. So like this would probably be like your wound track. So the way that wounds work in this game is gonna be you have temporary wound, which basically is on a timer that will go down. So I'm going to have it be like a background thing that it goes down over here like that in the background of this. And you can see when the timer is about to be up, and so that wound will disappear once the timer is up. Then you also have permanent ones, which you need to have like actual medicine to get rid of. Those are basically the two types of wound. I mean, there's tons of other stuff underneath that. You saw me building it out yesterday, but static and not static. I won't relitigate that. I think we've already talked about. Okay. We also need to fix this mouse, because for some reason it decided that it wanted to start being wonky. So like if I go over here, you'll see that it drops. This is something to deal with the calculation between the character's position, or the mouse's position, and the world's vector 3.0. So I'm just trying to figure out what that is. There's some type of normalization that's happening here, because it's a very small number, obviously. But there's a multiplication happening, clearly. And it's throwing it off. So like if I go back over here, you'll see that now it's going up again to the bottom right. Right? Like where the mouse is versus where the actual icon is. And it's not like I need to let it settle. It's just offset by a good deal. If I go back over here, you'll see it actually getting closer and closer to the mouse. My question is, if I like, yeah. But do I physically have to be area for it to be? I think it's a physical thing. No, it's not a physical thing. Once I go over here, so it's a mouse thing, not a... No. Yeah, it's like once we go past this part, suddenly I need to figure out what is happening there. Go over here, it's fine. Go over here, it's broken. Alright, so there's a couple of problems. Alright, I think we're going to call it a break there. I'm not sure if we should call it a day there, though. If anything, I think I might... I'm not sure if I'll handle the rest off stream. I don't know. I really don't know. Should I do the rest off stream, or should I just take a break at this point? Or, I don't know. Because I feel pretty good having... I really thought this was going to take longer. It was done really quickly. And that's you know, I give them their flowers. That's down to Unity's whoever designed their layout group. Code is just... They had everything in mind. It was very simple design. Nothing truly wrong with it. It's basically just this. You want to do something in the horizontal, put it in the horizontal. You want to do something in the vertical, put it in the vertical. Like, okay, that's basically it. End of story. Okay. All right. Well, if anything, at least I made a class for you guys. So this is just a one-off class, has nothing to do with anything else. You can copy it, and you can have the exact same kind of functionality in your bar as you're seeing here. You literally saw me building it from scratch, so have fun. Alright, folks, I think I'm going to call it. Maybe I'll come back a little bit later with another stream. But I think I want to be satisfied with that. I feel like if I go any further, I'm going to be in a very bad place. Let's take a break, give my brain reward for getting the job done, and then I'm going to come back to it later. Alright, folks, have a wonderful day.